Today is a dark day. Today, I'm drinking decaf. Welcome everybody to a Latte Words, where we drink decaf and talk about words. So the reason I'm drinking decaf today is this little guy right here. We've been having some sleep issues with him since he was born, and I've tried everything to fix them, everything you can imagine, except for this. I waited until the end, the very, very end, before giving up my caffeine, but today is the day. We're gonna do a little experiment and see if I can live without decaf coffee, and if my son will actually sleep. Black Widow, can I do it? The things I do for you. Anyway, my plan today was going to be to tell you all about my wonderful dissertation and how it helped me to potentially become a better writer. I still don't know if I'm better, but because I was up all night with him and he was up all night with me screaming, and I don't have coffee, I don't have the brain capacity to tell you about my master's degree dissertation and all of the studies I did and quoting all of the different academics, because quite frankly, I have like 5% brain capacity right now. Can there be less than like a -%? So instead of doing my planned post today, I am going to do something a little bit easier on my brain. So we are going to search for an Authortube tag in which I can just answer some simple questions, hopefully. So I found a tag by the Bookish Penbabe. My writing process, author tag, tag original. Oh God. I can do this, I swear. I'm gonna do it for all of you YouTubers out there. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay. Number 1. What genres do you write? So I write in what I like to call speculative fiction. I say speculative fiction because it's an umbrella term that covers sci-fi and grounded sci-fi and fantasy and, you know, Black Mirror type stuff. All the things that I like to write. So I say speculative. What setting gets you the most productive? A cafe with lots and lots and lots of coffee. Number 3. If you have multiple story ideas, how do you go about picking which one to start first? That's a good question, because sometimes I do multiple stories at once because clearly I can't stick to one for some reason. Oh, you pooped, didn't you? But sometimes if I do really have to pick one, it's usually the story that I think is the most marketable at the time. I know that's not very inspiring or artistic of me, but I do want to sell books. Number 4, do you outline? Of course I do, I have to. If you watched my previous video, you will know that outlining for me is number 1. Number 5, do you start your first draft with pen and paper, typewriter, or computer? I so admire anybody who can write anything with pen and paper for longer than a few pages. My hand gets all cramped and I absolutely hate it. I'm also a perfectionist about my handwriting, and over time it gets worse and worse the longer I write, so I would just get too frustrated. I can't do it. So typewriter would also be amazing, but I do not have one of those, so I use a computer. Number 6, what do you do to get through writer's block? I drink all the coffee. Number 7, do you format your project from the beginning or worry about that later? By formatting, I'm assuming that means outlining and blocking scenes, and yes, I do all of that at the beginning. Number 8, do you edit as you go or when you've finished with the first draft? I try to avoid editing, but I always do, especially because every time I start writing for the day, I kind of reread what I've already written, at least a few sentences, I don't know, but in those sentences, I always find something to fix. So I do a little bit of editing as I go, but I try to stick to rounds of editing rather than edit as I go. Number 9, after finishing your drafts manuscripts, how long do you give it a break before you start going back over it, or do you give it a break at all? I like to give it a break. It depends on how long I need. Usually a couple of months, because then I'm starting on a new draft of a different story. So I would say a few months, depending on how long it takes me to get through whatever draft I'm working on next. Number 10, is there something that you prefer to do to get you through writing? Number 11, do you schedule your writing sessions? I didn't used to, but now that I've had Sebastian here, I think I need to start scheduling. I'll link above the little how to keep writing with a baby. Yeah. In it, I said that you really just have to write whenever you can, and I do that, but I think I might need to also start scheduling time for myself, blocks of time. Number 12, do you have word count or chapter goals for your writing sessions? I vaguely do, if you call it a writing session, I guess. Right now, my word count goal for the day is usually about 200 words because of him. But generally, my goal is around 1,000 words, but I try not to beat myself up if I don't get to it. Number 13, are there any quirky things you do to make your projects more fun? I would say, I don't know. I've actually once put an outline of all of my scenes on the wall. I'll show you a picture of that. That was quirky, I guess. It didn't really work for me though. Number 14, do you work on multiple projects at one time? Yeah, again, I kind of do. I try to stick to one, but it tends to happen where I work on multiples. Number 15, how often do you research what you're writing? I research a pretty decent amount. I usually get a few books on whatever subject I'm kind of focusing on. Like, I learned a lot about hacking for my last book. I read a ton of Victorian history books for my first book. Number 16, how do you organize your projects? I organize them all in Scrivener. I absolutely love using that platform and it's been very helpful for me. Yeah, it has. Number 17, do you reward or punish yourself for achieving or missing out on your writing goals? I don't punish myself. I mean, mentally I do, which I talk about in a previous video. I've been working really hard not to. I would reward myself sometimes with like chocolate or more coffee. Number 18, are there any works similar to your projects that you look for and use for inspiration and or comparison? Basically, whenever I get an idea for a story, I go straight to Goodreads or even Amazon or just the bookstore and see if there's anything similar to what I'm writing, and then I'll read it. Just so I can get a sense of what's already out there and maybe some inspiration, but also I don't want to write anything that's already too close to having been done before. Number 19, how early do you wait to start looking for and hiring editors? I've only ever hired an editor once, and that was for my first book. I need to find a good editor in the UK. If anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. Not that the person has to be in the UK, but I don't know. Coffee. Number 20, if you've finished a first draft or manuscript, tell us how you felt afterwards and pick your favorite. I'll pick my most recent because my brain. For that one, I think I felt a sense of relief because I actually took a little bit longer to finish that draft than I normally do. Usually I can finish a draft within about 3 or 4 months, and this one took a good 5. So I was getting a little concerned that I was slowing down. I know that's silly, but I think it was just a relief that it was done and I could take a little tiny break from it and go into the editing mode, which I also enjoy. I was kind of getting sick of first draft mode where it's like you're putting everything down and you have word counts to focus on and things like that, and it was relief to be done. Number 21, tag someone. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tag each and every writer that is watching this right now. Even if you've never uploaded a video, if I can do this on no coffee and no sleep and a baby, so can you. No pressure or anything. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching me rambling on without any coffee in me and probably monotone and probably half falling asleep. If despite everything you still want to keep watching me, please hit subscribe below. And if you've decided to continue on with this tag from my video, please let me know in the comments. I would love to watch your videos. Thank you so much. Bye.